Hello everybody, welcome back to the Our Smiling Faces podcast, and me and Mark are joined by two special guests tonight. We've got Andrew and Thomas from Wor Flags. I said like this is some sort of game show now. Andrew and
welcome,
Thomas.
Andrew and Thomas
from Newcastle. It's like blind date. So we're basically here tonight just to talk about everything Wor Flags, everything Newcastle United, and what's happened over the last handful of weeks. Well, actually, what's happened over the last few seasons since you have been involved with match day involvement and preparation. So, first of all, do you want either of you just explain where this came from? So where Wor Flags, well, Gallagher Flags initially, and how it all started.
So there was two lads who started it. Alex was probably one of the main ones. He started it when, right at the start. And it was basically, he was on the back of Rafa staying in the Championship. Wanted to add a bit of more atmosphere to the Gallagher end, because I mean the atmosphere has been shite for years, like, hasn't it? To be fair, so it was just to add a bit of colour, and that's black and white, but a bit of colour to the Gallagher. Monochrome, yeah, nice link. And so it just went from there really, and then so that was throughout the whole season of the Championship. We raised some money for the Surfer flag, the We Are United one, and then as the next season started, we wanted to do a few more things. The original lads, they stepped down, and we kind of took it on. That's when the name changed to Wor Flags.
Which went in connection with Wor Yem.
Wor Yem, yeah.
In Block B.
Yeah.
So, was there any sole reason or anyone where you took inspiration from? Because I know Crystal Palace has slightly touched on it. There's only a handful of them, and it's not weekly like what Wor Flags is.
They just turn up wearing black, don't they?
They used to have.
They used to have quite a few things, didn't they?
Flag as well until we beat it.
Until
Watford.
Oh no, it was Watford.
Yeah, Watford did.
Oh, yeah, your facts, right?
Well, Crystal Palace was
we only deal on facts on this podcast.
You know Flags by now.
Wait, like Crystal Palace was the only one that I could think in the Premier League where it stayed in my memory. And they haven't done anything really like constant.
They've been in battle, haven't they, with the owners? Yeah. Fully enough,
they've won actually. They're getting a singing section right behind the goal.
They've got a class little section where when you're watching the matches, and you go all the flags and the singing and the jumping.
It's in
the
corner,
the
corner flag.
Last season, I had a bit of dispute with a club because the club had promised them a section right behind the goal, and then at the last minute cancelled it. So they said, right, well, we're not gonna do anything. So they just sacked off the entire corner. So for quite a while, that corner wasn't even going, and then it got agreed that they would be put behind the goal, and now they're back again. It's actually a pretty decent atmosphere at Selhurst Park. I think it's one of the best in the Premier League in my opinion.
Smaller ground, isn't it?
Tight ground,
exactly. But in terms of inspiration, it was probably just European sort of stuff. A lot of love like the German side of football. You know, safe standing, flags.
To be fair, it's a few of them, isn't it? You've got like the German, Italians, and in the Dutch.
Historically, the Italians have always been massive with their Tifosi and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, ultra scene and all of that kind of thing. And then obviously more recently, it's taken off quite a big way over in the States as well.
They're obviously big on safe standing areas and stuff like that, which is obviously something that we'll have a name for as a group. But we just wanted a bit of that, and obviously the Gallagher gets such a massive canvas to be able to actually to do stuff on it, so it was a no-brainer to take things to the next level away from just putting little waivers on people's seats, and taking it, going even bigger.
It's progressed, like it's been a steady progression, but like each one outdoes the last one, and that's the best thing about it.
Exactly.
Is that the overall aim? Just to
I don't know how we'll do be the whole ground next. I think I don't know.
Well, I spoke to you about this before. Last time I seen you, the next one has to be a pulley, and I want Perez fingers and ears. That's what I want. If he's still here,
exactly. The pulley system. It's something we've wanted for a long time, you know, and when we've been in discussions with the club, they seem pretty open to the idea, you know, that they're open to like doing tests and stuff like that. We'll see with obviously our latest.
Perfect canvas though, like structure wise, the Gallagher, because the roof just overlaid, like
to be
straight down.
They've said if it was the Leazes end, it wouldn't be an issue. It's just an issue with the Gallagher roof. It's just making sure that it's sturdy enough, structurally okay to actually hold the pulley system.
Yeah, it's got a few dead pigeons. If you remove the dead pigeons,
all the bottles that are in the netting at the top.
That pigeon's been above me for about 9 years or something.
How does it not decompose?
We've had this conversation many times. I can't remember. It's perfect. It's like mummified.
So, like, from the very start, have you seen a lot of people come and go from the involvement there, or has it been a steady group of people?
I think the core's been pretty steady, but there has been the outer people that come and gone. I've been involved probably just over a year now, so I'm probably one of the newer
ones.
Well, no, I couldn't say I'm new. I don't feel like I'm a new one anymore.
You always helped me before that.
Well, like when we used to go to obviously we'd go to the matches with my dad. We used to go and we used to help out every time we used to go.
Just volunteer.
And it just progressed from there. And
then he got promoted to the WhatsApp group.
The WhatsApp group, it is.
Is that when you've made it? When you get into the WhatsApp group?
Just made the admin.
You can add it to Twitter bio.
And I suppose people have different commitments, so that they can only do what they can do. But no, I really enjoy it, and I kind of because I enjoy it, I do it a lot. So.
What does it take from initial idea, like from then on in? Is it a case where you all sit down or contact through the WhatsApp in regards to what design to do next? Then everyone's just got a little bit of involvement.
Yeah, sort
pretty
of.
much.
Yeah,
WhatsApp's the big main part of it, really. But I don't know what we'd do if we didn't have WhatsApp. What
Nah,
would we do? We'd have to meet up.
It wouldn't be there, would it? Yeah. Sod that. Not meeting up. It's bad enough talking to them on WhatsApp. No, it's quite. We always have ideas of when we want to do things. I mean, the big surfer that we did at the end of last season, that was meant to be for the first game next season.
Right.
But can you imagine doing that now?
Yeah.
And that was always
so
our concern all
being
along.
on there, hold it up,
Exactly.
like.
That was our concern all along. What if it all goes to shit this summer? And then come August.
As if you've seen the future.
Exactly. So we're like, right, okay.
I'm thinking about it now when I look at it. Because of the time constraints.
Raising the money.
Well, you literally had to get a van and go across on a ferry to Poland and that, wasn't it?
For the Liverpool game. And honestly, before then, we're thinking, you know what? It's not going to be ready. We're not going to have it. Why don't we just leave it for the first game of the season? And I don't know why we just kept petting.
We were worried that Rafa wasn't going to be, and that the atmosphere, which it probably will be on the first game of the season, is going to be quite toxic.
Especially Newcastle last game of the season, especially at St James's Park, will normally do well. Like the last handful of years,
it's always
been
good
a great
carnival atmosphere, isn't it?
Yeah. And I retweeted the video I put on. It was 2016. It must have been where it was it Tottenham? That must have been 2016. Last home game of the season.
Aye,
5-1.
5-1. And I was like late going into the ground. I was normal.
Makes a change,
down in the
doesn't it?
ground. Well, I recorded because I knew the atmosphere would be bouncing as soon as I went. I recorded basically walking from the east stand. First entrance is the first entrance before you hit the Gallagher. That mine is. So I'm straight in there and I record it, and all you can hear the second you walk through that turnstile is Rafa's name getting chanted, and the atmosphere.
I remember that video actually.
Unbelievable, like unbelievable. You can just hear it echoing across the concourse, and you go outside, and we're talking about 4 or 5 minutes into the kickoff.
Yeah.
Like it's still like going loud, and I remember sitting down, and even 5-10 minutes afterwards, it was still going because it was at that point everyone's thinking, this is how we try and get Rafa to stay.
I think it was like
that's what it was.
An unspoken thing between all the fans was like, right, we need to try and persuade him out to stay. Right, why don't we just sing his name for like
do our
20 minutes?
part, basically.
And
To be fair, it worked because he even mentioned it in his statement today, didn't he?
Yeah.
But last home game of the season, it always seems to be a decent one because everyone's always been out in the lash for
Saturday night helped on the last one, like, didn't it? I think everyone was absolutely smashed. Like, we were worried about actually being sober enough to put the flag.
To do the flag?
Yeah.
It was, but because there was a lot of pressure around that, actually, wasn't there? The fact that we'd raised all that money so quick.
Loads of attention as well, wasn't there? Loads and loads of media attention as well. It wasn't just attention from Newcastle fan base, it was like worldwide. And
I was one of the ones that drove
everywhere.
to Poland to get it, so the pressure was on me. So I was thinking, imagine I've driven all this way all this week, and then I get back and it fails.
At what point did you realise you were going to have to drive?
The delivery cost was going to be thousands and thousands
Like
of pounds.
more than the flag.
It
wouldn't have been
half
why
the value. It was
up there, but it was more the fact that you couldn't. It wasn't going to be ready till Wednesday. We were told by Ultra. Is it what they call 12?
Ultra's 13-12
or something.
Yeah.
Just
the company that made it.
Yeah,
They
right,
said
made the wine.
it'll be ready on the Wednesday, and we were like, the match is on the Saturday. We're like, what we're going to do?
No
It's like,
delivery company was going to get it back in Newcastle
from
for the
Poland
Friday
for the Friday
because
no
we
way.
needed to practice.
So I think Thomas was like, I'll drive, so we'll put it out. And Thomas and Anth decided that the other one.
I'm going to slag you off, man.
I've already messaged him and said what you said about him.
No, it wasn't. Hey, I've got it wrong. It was Johnny.
It was Johnny. It wasn't even Anth at all. It was Johnny.
It was Johnny.
We were just like, let's just go. So we'll put a message out on there. Put a message out on Twitter, and immediately we got a private message from DFDS wanting to help. So they were like, they actually offered to pick it up, but we couldn't give them an exact time and a date and time when it was going to be ready.
To be fair, that's how you do media, though. Like social media, and that's how you do it. Especially a local. I'm saying local company, but obviously it's going it's going from North Shields to Amsterdam every single day.
Yeah.
So it's a no-brainer for them to try and get involved. And interaction and media present it's ridiculous what you're going to get on the back of that. So credit to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
They saw an opportunity and they went for it. And that's amazing from their point of view, and amazing for you because without them, it would have cost even more money.
Even more miles, because we would have had to drive obviously down to the south coast, cross over that way. Because I think the cost, they actually saved us a lot of money on the cost of the ferry. And then Templeman, he donated the van just for now. He was like quite relaxed about it, you know. We were like, "What, do you want any money for it or anything like that?" He was just like, "Nah."
There's the keys.
Just it was. I went up, handed them our driver's licenses, and that was that. Like, we got a copy of the insurance, and there's the keys.
Which, like, you're thinking from his point of view, that's risky as well, because you're driving across multiple countries in his van. Anything could happen, and we know how. Like I was speaking to you last time I saw you, and you were saying the amount of lorries and. It's the highway to just massive lorries and obviously coming in now and freight and stuff like that.
But that was one of the best things that day, was on the Wednesday when we'd got to Germany on the Tuesday, on the Wednesday when we drove to Poland, it was there was actually a truck ban on the roads on the Wednesday, so they were dead. There was no cars on the road because they were all just parked up at the side, so it would just straight through. And in Poland on that day it was a bank holiday as well, so the roads were dead. So because we had a lot of driving to do that day, so we had to get into Poland and then drive 7 hours back into Germany. So it was it was class. Like, it was a great trip.
So you get the place where you're picking the flag up. What happens from then? Were you expecting this size and this flag to be as big as what it was?
This place is like a proper industrial,
like flats and stuff.
Just an industrial estate. You know what it is. It's not far off.
That's probably why they filmed it.
That probably is. So we got there, and there's this. Obviously, it's a bank holiday, everywhere's shut. But there's this security guard on the entrance to the gate, right? He didn't speak a word of English, not a word of English. So obviously, Johnny's trying to talk to him. I'm driving the van. Johnny's trying to talk to him and trying to explain what a flag is. So Johnny starts doing this to him. Johnny, man, he's probably thinking like, a sword or something like that.
You're a ninja.
Gets his Jedi out.
Honestly, I wish I had that on video. So eventually there was some Polish journalist who works for like an English-speaking website in Warsaw came to take photos. And the bloke who runs Ultra Shop, he said he was going to be late because he had to go home and change cars. And he turns up, right?
Jesus Christ! Why would you ever need to change cars? That's scary.
He turns up in this sports car, right? Convertible. He just rocks up, and I'm thinking, we've paid for that with all this money. And the registration plate on the car was ACAB. Do you know what that stands for?
Yeah.
All coppers are bastards.
Jesus Christ!
It's like football hooligans around Europe use that ACAB term, and that was his registration plate. We're thinking it was.
Have you ever thought about what the first call was?
Nah, Jesus. But so it was incredible. So the flag was in this separate building, and it was just, it would look through the windows, and we were thinking, well, there's no doors here. This is going to have to come out the window.
It's like when you get a CD delivered. That's not counting.
Because the door was like down a corridor. It would have just been too awkward. It was easier to just go out the window. So we just parked the van right next to the window, and just he had two workers there who came and helped. And so we got it out. But he showed me around his offices. It was incredible. The what he's going on there. It's just absolutely amazing, the machines he's got. And then he was like, I'll take you for lunch. So he took me for lunch, and me and Johnny's thinking, shit, like we've got 7 hours still to drive back into Germany, yeah. So it wasn't until like 4:30 when we actually got away, because he took me for lunch. We didn't want to say no.
Yeah.
He actually let us drive his car. That was, that was quite funny. But I saw this thing was huge. I mean, the van was probably just big enough to fit it in, you know, which was funny in itself, like pulling up at the border control at DFDS when we'll come back to Amsterdam, and they want to check in the van to see what's in there, and I'm trying to explain to them what it is.
Think how many bodies you could be.
He opened the door, he just goes, like, obviously this is a flag, so he was like, yeah, just shut the door. And we were like, we could have had anyone in there.
I know.
Like, especially from Amsterdam. We could have took orders and that, like, couldn't we? But no, it was just
had one
class.
of these over the back.
It was like,
Just all flag.
the social media reaction that we got from it was just incredible, because like loads of people were loving what we were doing. Obviously, loads of people had donated. That was one of the best things about the flag, was having people's name on it. And even when me and Johnny we had a couple of pints on the ferry on the way home, and
Drink driving. Oh, aye.
on the night.
No, sleep on the night time.
Well, I didn't get any sleep, like, because of Johnny's snoring. Sorry, Johnny. And he. So there was this like group of people just along from us, and they started talking about the flag, and me and Johnny's looking at each other thinking,
Fucking hell, innit?
everyone's talking about it, and we're like, we feel famous, we were like, let's put it.
Did you not see something?
We did, we're like, it's on the ship.
He was sitting there like that. Some free pints going, yeah. Oh, the flag, you see.
Did
not get your pint?
Like, nah.
Bastards. If you're listening, you bastards.
I know. Shocking.
Oh man! So like that situation was just a surreal situation for you.
Incredible.
Like?
It was a weird few weeks, because obviously Dan had to design it. We were putting the pressure on him to get it done, you know. And Dan just had a new baby girl, so the pressure was really on him, and he got it done. To be fair to him, like, he did a great job.
Because we had this kind of cut-off time where it's like, if
the
design's not finished by this date,
It's not happening.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
So like obviously
You could have just left
it's-
the Durham Cathedral off. That would have saved the time. And
There was landmarks, so landmarks. So there was local landmarks. Where did that come from? Was it just purely suggestions from everyone on social media and stuff like that?
Basically, and then we
The
had.
actual landmarks was, the idea of it was, I think
It was our idea, yeah.
It was
but
our idea in the
we
group,
put-
but
Great touch with the names, like
100%. The names
Oh,
were
that
brilliant.
was-
Names was
that was
class.
a really good
Aye.
idea.
There's some strange names in there as well, like ex-players and stuff. That people obviously just
Aye,
back them.
yeah.
all the XPs are on
Dan
there.
just hide them on, didn't he?
Stormy Daniels is on there somewhere.
Stormy Daniels is on there.
There must be. I bet there's a
so we
random
put that
one
down,
here.
or is that just a...
No, it was.
It was great.
It was one of the lads in the group. He was sick enough putting his name when he was donating to the flag. So just he got bored once, so he just put.
There must be. I bet there's one in there that no one's realised yet, and like
gotta be,
I get the point where we'd be like, why? What? Who put that there?
I'm trying to think if there is any. I can't remember.
There will be, yeah.
There has to be.
Has to be.
There has to be. That was a great idea. with
Dan
the
will
names,
look,
like,
he's literally
Dan
had to
will
physically
look,
sit and type all them up.
Physically did. He did. Honestly, he did all the names.
It was Rob that sat and typed them up, because obviously that was a task in itself.
Right, it was,
Everyone that made a donation, or
Do you know how many people donated?
Just over 2,000 was it?
Yeah.
Was it?
300 something like that.
so all those names had to be put down on a Excel spreadsheet, and then so poor Rob, he was a student, so he's got nowhere else to do. So he must have just sat there and just went through all of the names and just wrote them all out, and then sent that file to Dan, and then Dan converted it.
The thing is, obviously, people would donate on the GoFundMe page, and it would leave their name. But then, if they wanted more names on, they would have to leave a comment.
Yeah.
So you would have to go through 2 separate lists and then
Jesus.
Right,
compare
Was
the
there anyone
names
that
with.
didn't put any names on it whatsoever?
No, the amount of times I was tweeting saying, if you want your name on
your
the,
name on it.
don't remain anonymous,
No, there was
because like,
loads
you're
of them.
defeating the
There was
point. Why
loads.
would you remain anonymous if you
Yeah.
want your name on?
Aye.
So I was just trying to make that point, but we kept getting loads and loads of messages saying, "Oh, I selected anonymous. Can you put my name on?" So then you're adding that name to the list. So it just added to the stress of getting it done, you know. But
Yeah, of
it was
course.
class in the end, like.
So, out of all the displays that you've ever done, what is your favourite? To be, not just what it looked like to the rest of the fans, but to be involved in? Was that it for you, obviously, with the whole, you were there, basically driving across?
Yeah, probably that one. That one or the Chelsea one at the end of the season before.
Where there's unity,
Where there's unity, there's always
Is that
victory.
Victory.
We
All
did
right,
the,
with
we
all
did the
players,
foils with it, and
Like the graffiti font on
that's
it,
it.
that one.
Yeah, I love that one. That was
good.
class.
Personally, I like the headline one. Headline one was a good
Aye,
one.
yeah,
the 125th
Yeah,
anniversary,
that was
that's
one,
my
yeah.
favourite.
Yeah.
I think that's one of my favourites.
I have to say, they're all completely wasted on me. because I never get to see them.
No, of course.
Because I'm behind them, so it could say absolutely anything. It's not until kind of after the match or the next day when I actually see pictures of it and stuff like that.
So we're just the twats that block your view.
The worst one was obviously that great big massive flag because I couldn't see nout. But it's always a shame for me because I'm like kind of behind it all, so don't get to appreciate it until you see the pictures of it and stuff like that. And it's always then, fucking hell, that looks really, really good.
It's the same for us. Like when we do them, it's always because the only one we've ever practiced is the big one.
Yeah.
All the rest is just like just get out there, bang it up, and then bring it down. But don't know how it's gone until afterwards.
Need to practice with that surfer flag when it goes along the east stand and then along to the other end.
Gets upside down by the time
that
it's
always does my head in. That
It's quite funny. Like
it gets to the corner and so they keep pulling it.
Was the intention for it to ever leave the Gallagher though, or did it just make its way across?
Nah, to be honest, we just stopped chasing it. It goes up into the stand and we're because we've got to get up. Like most of us sit at the top of the Gallagher, so we've got to get up all them stairs. So we're like, sorry.
But I would always see
come down eventually.
It'll come back some
We'll
point.
get it at the end.
I always see a lad with like longish hair, like chasing after it.
That'd be David. David, maybe.
Oh, David, yeah.
It'd be David, wouldn't it?
It's always him that's chasing after it
bless him.
into the corner.
It's mental
when it goes along the
that,
east
like,
stand and then into Leeds, Jesus, it
Went into
starts
Melbourne,
turning. Aye.
So do you know like a normal flag, not the big fuck off surfer flag that we did. So normal flags. I'm saying we. Like I haven't taken credit for it. I didn't have any involvement ever. But like just a normal one. So the ones where it'll just be canvas and you're literally writing, painting on it. Mm-hmm. What's the preparation like? How long does that physically take you to do?
It's not that long actually, is it? It's a
Depends
few
how big it
days.
Few days.
Remember the Keegan one we did, the Keegan quote?
Yes, right.
So that took about a week.
They'll never get on your club quote. That one.
That was a big one. That
took a while. Because then you have to. So you get all the materials. You lie the underlay, then you put
Plastic
the material on
underlay.
top. Then
so it doesn't go
you paint it. Then it's got to dry overnight. It takes a while. So it's quite cold.
Just leaving it dry, just in the concourse.
Yeah, overnight. Then we'll come back. We'll start pulling it up, but obviously that one was massive. So
well, even that one with Rafa, the one that was in
Spanish.
So that one's quite a decent
that was massive
size.
as well. That took a while.
And even Almira one was decent size.
Yeah. And
which is this one? Believe it or not,
that's
like
right.
this
It is from that flag. It is.
Yeah.
We got a lot quicker as time went on. You develop a system, so it got a lot quicker. But where we were able to do it a couple of days before the game. But I think like the Keegan quote, it was probably about a week before that we started it.
We are pretty quick now, actually. When you think about it,
should take a lot of credit, shouldn't we?
No,
To be fair though, I like always say obviously when you are preparing it and stuff like that it's all of that pre-work that takes the time and the effort for you to put it on.
For being up for 3 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
3 minutes. I wish it was.
Sorry,
I wish it was 3 minutes.
But I guess that's the stuff that people don't see and don't appreciate is how much work goes into something like that.
I want to go right back to the start. So, like, how hard was it to get the club involved, or was it pretty? Did they snap your hand off it?
Aye, because it's a PR exercise for them, isn't it? It's perfect.
Aye, and it only improves Newcastle United, really.
Yeah. Obviously, there's health and safety things that come into it that the club have to look into. But apart from that, once we've ticked those boxes, they're very happy. We've got a great relationship with a lot of people in that club. Like,
they've been very inviting of them.
Oh, incredibly. Honestly, like. He gets a lot of stick, but Lee Marshall's been just brilliant with us. He's so open to everything that we're coming to him with, and it's a shame to see him getting quite a lot of stick. But it is what it is.
It comes with the job.
It does. It is what it is.
Especially shite times like this.
Exactly. But there's a few great people in that club that we've worked with. That we're hoping to continue to work with. So
it's one of those things. Like whenever I see on Twitter when people say the club's rotten to the core. It's not to the core. It's rotten at the top.
Yeah,
big style.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of good people that work.
It's like an opposite to a pyramid scheming, isn't it? Like so, the top of it, like then it works its way down. As it gets down, it gets better.
Exactly. They know how we feel about Mike Ashley and how everyone feels about Mike Ashley. So they weren't surprised with when we said the other day what we did.
Yeah.
That we on it for something.
So how did you come around about that decision to? Because obviously you know it's been put out there now that you've decided to stop putting on the displays before the game and stuff like that in I guess, in protest at what's going on there. How did you go through that process of making that decision?
Was it one person that initially said, "Shall we sack this off"?
It had been building for quite some time.
Yeah.
The one that hits it home, Graham, who does most of the work really in the group, he's been going for about 43 years, and he was cancelling. He actually cancelled back in January, didn't he?
Yeah.
But then he was thinking with the takeover rumours, potentially Rafa staying, he was going to just renew again. And money wasn't an object. That he didn't care that his season ticket price might have gone up, and he just wanted to be at the games. But him cancelling with hundreds and hundreds of loyalty points, and he just cancelled, that hit home with a lot of people in the group. That people like that were cancelling.
Yeah.
Like, that's when you know it's pretty serious. When obviously we get people having tantrums, but when people that have been going for decades are starting to give it up, like that hit home a lot with a lot of people in the group. So with regards to the statement that we put out, it was actually joined of about 3 different things
in the
that we
WhatsApp
wanted to
group.
say.
So everyone was like, "So what
We should say this, we should say that,
What was- and then I saw them all and I just put them all together, kind of mashed them all up and went, "There you go, Thomas. Why don't you just say that? Because it's pretty much a bit of everyone." And so that's what we put out, and it is. It's
He added the hiatus word. That was
hiatus. Yeah. Because we're going to come back. We're not finished.
that was the bit that stood out for me. It made it look like proper.
I had to Google what I meant.
We're definitely not finished. We don't want to finish,
Nah.
but we just can't bring ourselves to put on displays while the club's in the kind of.
People have got to realise going into the game. Let's say say 50% of the lads and lasses from Wor Flags stop going, right? Literally, season tickets gone, won't go into the game. The lads and lasses that are still going, it's going to be hard for them adjusting to not being involved
Not
in
doing
stuff
the
like that.
display beforehand and.
Like, because was it 3 seasons now?
To be fair, you get like the people that even just come in and pick up a flag
They
just
do,
to wave it at the
there's a
start.
lot
You know,
of
it's,
people like that,
it's going to be strange for them because it's now part of the match day experience for them to come in
Have you ever
and do it.
struggled with volunteers?
No.
Always been like,
always been
We've had a panic beforehand, thinking we haven't got enough people for this.
And then,
But then
you just grab someone.
people just
and go,
walk in and
hold
just
this,
grab it.
and they will. They'll just
hold it. It's class, like it's. But now it's quite sad. Obviously, if like, the people that continue to go to the games, it's like it's going to be hard to do a display. You just won't have enough people to actually get everything set up beforehand.
And playing a little bit devil's advocate here, that you could, in a perverse way, say that these are the times where you probably need more than anything, like the flags, to be in the ground.
For what though? Because you've got to think what we're doing. Like we improve the team for what reason? Because we're not going to win, and we're going to stick in that special golden zone that Ashley wants to be in, where he makes most money without spending his amount of money that he needs to. So really, all we're doing is making his life better. That really aren't we?
It is, and obviously like the club, they use a lot of the images that of the displays and stuff like that to try and portray this sort of image that
Everything's brilliant.
We're absolutely class. We've got all these flags. That's how they try and sell the club to people.
Yeah.
That it's just now we don't want to be part of that because it's just fake. It's totally fake. Why? It's gone on that little bit too long now, where it's past right. Okay, that we feel that we need to support the team. We feel we've done that for the last probably decade under Mike Ashley, and now it's getting to the stage where now people are cancelling. It's just like sod it.
So frustrating.
It's just not. It's not fun for us to do because, like I say, it's fake. Like we're waving a few flags and people are probably looking at it thinking, "Don't care."
No, I completely.
It's such a difficult one because I get what you're saying in terms of like, you still want. I still want to see that.
It's all sport the teams, not the regime sort of stuff.
Because there's nothing wrong with that group of players. That group of players are probably one of the best groups that we've had for a long time.
Yeah.
It's just what's more
and that's the awkward position that you find yourself in, isn't it? With Rafa leaving, you want almost to try and keep that group of players together and show them that they've got our support as fans, but on the one hand, is that then taken for granted, as you say, by the owners?
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Being brutally honest, it is, because they rely on us being there, or he relies on us being there
all
it's
that
him,
Newcastle
isn't it?
United fans and Wor Flags are doing, and anyone else associated with the club, they're just bumping it up the ladder for Mike Ashley. It's all they're doing, and we're not getting anything in return.
No, nothing.
So like, there's got to come a point where you go, why?
Yeah.
Like basically,
Exactly.
why are we doing
The
this?
manager that we adore has decided to leave.
Because that was the initial reason why it initially took off, because of Rafa.
Exactly, aye.
Yeah.
And like,
Exactly.
it's just full circle now.
It is.
The day he leaves is when you just turn around and go, done until something changes.
That's it.
It's that feel-good factor that we've talked about, you know, in the past with Rafa. There, we spoke about him, you know, bringing back an air of happiness to the club and bringing the team and the fans together and a connection. And the Flags were a massive part of that.
I mean, some lads in the group actually met Rafa. He called them in just to talk. It was around the time of like protests and stuff like that, you know, and like a few lads really wanted to protest, and then they've sat down with Rafa and he's been like, nah, I need you to support the team. So who are we to turn around as a group and say, nah, sod you, Rafa, like, no, we'll listen to him, he wants us to do that. So what he said went for fans, and that would have went for every single fan in that ground.
Of course, he's the type of person, like, we've met him before, and he's the type of person that you'll meet and you're just in awe of him.
Exactly.
Like, you'll just stand mouth open, catching flies, like just listening to him. It's all you do.
It's amazing with Rafa. I remember meeting him once. I was going for a plane in Newcastle Airport, and he didn't know which gate he was going to. So and I was actually on his flight, and we're walking him to the gate. And even then, it was at the start of the season, last season, not the season before.
So the second in Premier League after.
Yes, the first.
So
it was coming back up.
Not the one just
We
gone.
were due to St Kennedy that summer.
Right,
We got him in the January.
Right,
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So and he was ranting then, because we were like, how's things going? Like, because it was like 2 days before the transfer window was closing, and he was ranting then how we couldn't compete with Bournemouth and Burnley and all that. So he was saying it back then, and he was openly saying it to fans. So you can tell how frustrated he was, because he's probably thinking to himself, I really shouldn't be saying these sort of things, but he couldn't help himself.
It's a similar thing. I met him must have been a handful of weeks before the season ended. I was at the training ground, and we was talking with him then, and he was saying that basically he loves the place. Like, he didn't have a bad word to say against Newcastle United fans. But what at the training ground, we're facing the pictures, the training pictures, and they look amazing. If you just saw a photo that way, you'd think, Jesus Christ, that's a fantastic training ground. And he went, look behind you, and like there's paint falling off there. Like, there was like,
Look at the bungalow.
aye, and there was like half of a Newcastle crest hanging off somewhere, and like he's going, this is what I'm working with.
Did you see he's quoting George
I haven't read the article yet.
Oh,
Brilliant.
best
You'll
quote ever.
Get a hanky.
Oh, is that about the home thing? About,
No, he
training
said how 3 years ago he spent time with an architect, basically making some changes with the
Seeing the
training
plans.
ground, seeing the plans
make
and all
some
that.
changes here
and then
and there.
all they did in 3 years' time was paint the walls.
It is true, and put a mural on his wall in his office.
Unbelievable,
Joke,
man.
like, absolute
Honestly.
joke.
It just proves like how underappreciated he was as a
incredibly,
manager from those at the top,
yeah,
though.
totally taken for granted.
Like, you look at the
Someone
bottom of
like
this
Rafa
pyramid,
Benitez.
so us, and we couldn't put him any higher. He's on that pedestal. He can't get any higher than what he
Exactly.
is. He's up there with Billy Gray's monument at that minute. We should replace that. Get him on. Get Rafa up there. But
He
like,
invented Earl's Grey's tea.
but like, you go to the top, then it's polar opposite to what we are.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
mental.
It
And it frustrates you, doesn't it? It
it's
just
like, why?
frustrates me.
How? I mean,
Frustrates.
I was
It's everybody else in the world except Mike Ashley,
Mike Ashley and Lee
and
Charlton.
most Mackhams that don't appreciate, you know, what.
Yeah.
We are one of those. I was trying to think of is it analogies when you say where, like, in other sports, say like Formula One, we're one of those teams that is at the back of the grid every single, and they just have they're just there to be
Just
one of
happen
them.
to go
You know
around.
what I mean? It's like
They're
we're
making
not
up the
we're not
numbers.
going to beat McLaren.
We're
not gonna
Force
beat-
India.
Yeah, Newcastle's Force India or Formula One.
We're that shitty little cart on a carousel. No, everyone wants to be on the horse. We're that little shitty car that anyone wants to sit in, but you're still there every single time.
I
Just
thought you were
going round and
I thought you were
round.
talking about an airport where your baggage comes out. Like, where's he getting with
You
this?
know what I mean? That daft little thing where about 3 people can sit and there's never anyone sat in it. That's us.
That was
on a
the
carousel.
other one. I was thinking, like, if you owned Newcastle, you would want, well, if you wanted to win something, obviously Ashley doesn't, but you would do your utmost to try and make it achieve it. It's like having a champion race course, putting in a Grand National, and going, I'm just going to add a few more weights to it, you know? So just to make sure it doesn't win.
Do you know what? In fact, I'm not going to say it now because we'll wrap this one up. We'll do a quick question answer on this one. We need to talk about Supporters Trust. We'll talk about that on the question answer because I know you're involved with them. We'll talk about those on the next one. I've got nothing else to say on this topic. Are you done?
No, other than thank you for
thanks,
what you have done in the last few years.
Look forward to seeing
Not
it
that
in
I get
the
to
future.
see much of it, but it is appreciated.
You can have your pick of any seat next season.
So, hopefully, the comments that you would have had over the last week is just people thanking you and basically people saying, I understand
99%.
why.
100%.
Obviously, you're going to get the odd arsehole. Of course you are. Everyone sees them. So
Twitter, innit?
Aye, of course. Social media is a nightmare. It's like-
shocking.
but as overall, the gestures that you've been getting is just thanks, see you around.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely.
And hopefully we'll be back soon.
Yeah.
Did anybody ask you not to let Chilcott ever wave a flag again?
Oh, he's literally the worst at waving a flag. Jesus Christ.
I don't know.
I was,
You not saw the video of Jill waving a
so it was
flag.
the
Sorry, Joe.
it was either the FA Cup game because I was with him in the corner and we were talking to Anth before the game. So Joe was like, "Oh, Anth, give us a flag. I really want to wave a flag." Jesus Christ!
It just raveled up itself.
It was the worst. It's out there on Twitter videos.
It
I
is
was
an art,
taking
you know.
pictures
It is
of it
an
on
art.
video,
I
but
know, I wouldn't want to be
Waving
that
flags.
person getting recorded with it just in
You've
case.
got to pass a course and everything.
his heart was in the right place. His arms and the rest of him just wasn't.
Right, thanks for watching, thanks for listening to the audio. The audio will be going out after the video as well. Thanks to GEORDIE Gifts for sponsoring the podcast, and thanks to Guglielmo Clothing. Once again, you do get a discount of 20% now. It's not 10, it's 20% now that you get.
If it's not, it is now. We've just put it up.
If you use, I know, a 40% discount. 20% discount.
There's a sale on this week. All t-shirts are a tenner.
It's finished. So you get your 20%
He's going to extend it.
Use the AWSF pod at the checkout. Thanks.